This was only part of the Enjoying Art class, Portrait of Children. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a drawing study for a portrait project. If you're already a member of Enjoying Art, you can go into the Learning Center. Under the portrait drawing, you can find the full videos of the entire drawing process. We're going to do some very quick thumbnail study. And when I do the thumbnail study, I usually just draw everything that I want to include in a very small scale. Make it a little simple like that. So I find the shape of the face. Okay, the hair over here. And when you do the thumbnail study, you should also draw the shadow, the shape, because that's considered a part of the study, because you are evaluate the weight of the drawing. And any dark color, it look heavier, right? So the heavy and the light shape, how they is gonna look together. So just spend a little bit time, just think about the weight. Like on the right side of the nose, this is almost like a no weight, so I don't need to draw it. Okay, just draw the mouth over here. Anything that has dark color, like that, on the top over here, and under here, as a little, expand a little bit. So it's very much you're getting the weight correctly. So the ear over here, a little ear over there. Here you go. And then coming to the neck over here. Right now, we just try to throw the elements on the paper so that we can start thinking about how to compose it. And the shoulder on this side. You feel free to change some part of the body, like say the shoulder, or the background, and the weight of some of the elements you don't want to include it. You can substitute with something else. Okay, that's just a little weight over here. And here you go. I'm gonna remove the backpack. I'm not thinking about she is going to school. You're staying at home. Okay. Like that, right? So this is what I have done. And I'm probably going to extend it a little bit more. It's just to see how it look, right? Now I'm going to thinking about how I'm going to crop them. And also the background over here, I also want to have this side a little bit darker. Just the idea to get this side of the edge a little bit softer. Okay, so if you have the value closer together, it would make it feel softer. So I'm gonna extend it a little bit outside because we don't know how big that would be. How much space you want to include. Okay, like this, a little bit softer. So plan on how the background work, like this, right? That's pretty good. Like that. All right, now I'm gonna get my cropping tool. It's very simple. My cropping tool looks like a little too big. Now we're gonna do some study. How we're gonna crop it? You want to crop it like this? Yeah, you can do that. Or you can crop it vertical, like this, how you would want. And at this point, you directly relate to your feeling. Do you want to crop in a little bit more? When you crop in a little more, you make it feel like a more focus on the person. And if you open it up, you have a little bit more relaxing feeling, and that is very different. But you have to know where you're going to put it into the space and the outside. You may want to thinking about something that you can use it, maybe the mountain that they used to spend the time vacation, and thinking about what other elements over here. If not, you don't have other information. Okay, all right, I'm just going to focus on the person. You're going to crop it in over here like that.
Now you're gonna have a little problem if you do this, right? You have what problem you have? The negative space. The space over here that works fine. That looks very interesting. But what about the space on this side? Pay close attention. This looks like a parallel line, a rectangle shape. So how are you going to eliminate that? So when you are doing that in a small thumbnail study, I would like you to think all those through. What you're going to do in the large scale, right? So over here, oh, okay, all right, that's easy. I'm going to make this, the bottom over here, a little bit darker. So basically, I divide this shape into two different shapes. So one is darker, one is lighter. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to have this blended out like this. And we're going to come back to take a look at it again. Is that a little bit better? I just making sure all the shape that you plan, they looks perfect for you before you start the big drawing. If you're happy with this, and then you're going to transfer exactly how you plan onto the large paper, on your watercolor paper, on your canvas, if you depends on the medium that you work on. So maybe like this. I'm thinking about, should I move it a little bit higher, a little bit lower? So you need to think it through. Basically, you have to think everything that you should think about in the problem, the solution, and you can find out all the thing in the bottom over here. I'm going to make it a little bit darker, coming down like this. Here you go. So making sure everything, and I'm going to take it out again. I'm going to do a little bit rendering. So I'm going to make this a little bit softer to see, and maybe remove some of the light in the background. And so leave the lightest would be only inside the face. Okay, I'm going to softly make to give a little bit more definitions. That's what I would like to see. This also would be the same process that you are going to do for a real portrait project. After you finish this, you can email the photo of this thumbnail to your client. If your client agree with before you go forward with your final painting, you don't really need to have a very large drawing study for your client to review. And smaller, like this. I think this is pretty good. So I'm going to do a little bit more fine tuning on the shoulder, come up a little bit, like that. Coming down. This is only the idea sharing. And sharing that with yourself helps you to make up your mind, and also the idea to share with your clients, so that your client would agree with you, or maybe have the chance for them to input their suggestions. That one is say, oh, can you change the shirt? Okay, come on, here you go. All those idea input is going to come out, and you are going to appreciate that, because earlier that you receive the information, it will be less work for you in the long run. Okay, right? Okay, we use the cropping, and I'm going to do it one more time. Like that. I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to moving in a little bit, like that. Okay, here you go. I'm going to open the shoulder a little bit on this side, but I don't want to see a little narrow shape too much. So I'm going to moving in a little bit. Okay. So you're going to spend the time, get a coffee or a wine in your hand so you can relax and do this. Open up your feeling. Okay, it's very important. Let's say if this is what you really want, making sure it look interesting. When it's small, easier to change. Maybe move up a little bit on the top over here. Go through all your feeling involved in the whole process. I'm going to use a medium. That's okay. I'm going to draw that border. Here you go. Now you're really done this step. I'm going to also make the outside a little bit softer. This is not something that you can just run through it, rush through it, and that is okay. It's not. This is the most important. You're setting up the stage for yourself. This is, you don't have to clean the outside totally, but make it look a little bit more clear to you. And how we're going to transfer the composition onto your large paper. We're going to do a little study of the composition. So I'm going to use a hot charcoal pencil. And what I would like to do, I'm going to draw those out over here. The chin, I'm going to find out the location of the face. I'm going to draw the line outside. And somehow when you draw that line outside, it's easier for you to see a little bit more clear. So I'm going to use the top of the head right over here. And there's the bottom right over here. And the top of the page is also important. Now I'm going to take a look vertically. Interesting. When we take a look, that it looks like this is the same as the bottom. So that means we're going to do this, almost like a quarter. A quarter, that means divide in half and then half. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be 1, 2, the kind of 3 part of the 4. On the top over here, almost like a 1 of this. But I'm going to do a little measurement. I'm taking over here, put a little line. I'm moving up over here. Oh, wow. It just 3/4. And the top over here have a little bit more than 3/4. We can say that this part now is almost like a half of the whole vertical, because the top and the bottom also become 4/4. And here it has a 4/4, right? Vertically, the size of the face a little bit smaller than half, because the top has a little more than a quarter. Now on the horizontal scale, I'm going to put that over here and put that on the top. I'm not including the ear. This face a little bit more on the right side. If you divide into 3, but the middle one would be like a 1.5, right? You can see that. This is only 2/3 of the face width. If you can divide into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 3 part in the middle, that is the width of the face, not including the ear. We cannot decide on both the height and the width of the face. You only can decide on one. The second one, you have to base on the first one to find the ratio. So we get the idea. The feeling is what we are going to capture right at the beginning.